Who do you admire the most?
For me, it's anybody who takes those chances. Like it's not even, there's so many people. So it's hard to just pinpoint one, like whether it's family members, whether it's, like leaders that we see, or anybody who said, you know what, I'm going to live the life I want to live. And I'm going to, despite everybody telling me I can't, despite overcoming incredible odds and believing in themselves. I think there's so much to be learned there, and people who make mistakes and learn from those mistakes and grow. So like I've seen it within my family, I've seen it within my colleagues, I've seen, like, there's just, or my clients, my God, some of the things my clients have been able to accomplish are just so humbling and inspiring. So I guess it's anywhere I see people doing the things they want to do and breaking out of that mold, those are the people I admire.
Hello.
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 We are Emilian
and Silviana Carter,
the founders of Feel and Grow Rich project and the authors of the upcoming book called Feel and Grow Rich.
It is a great honor to introduce you to Angela Di Paola, the author of the book You Are Enough, That's Life, or Is It? Founder of GoalzLab coaching program. And welcome, Angela. Would you like to tell us a little bit about your background for our audience?
Sure. And thank you for having me. So I am an author of the book, That's Life or Is It? I'm a self-development coach, mindset coach, and I have a background in social work. And basically what I love doing is helping women achieve the things they want to achieve, because so often we're off. And that's also why I wrote the book. I was just so tired of seeing these amazing women everywhere, not seeing how good they are and how capable they are. So I developed a program to help them see just how awesome they are and just get them doing the things they want to be doing.
Awesome.
What inspired you to write this book or start your own project? And what you can say about the project?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, like I was saying earlier, I was so tired of seeing all these women around me, whether it was clients, whether it was just family, colleagues, just brilliant people, just not seeing that and just constantly putting themselves down and putting everybody ahead of themselves. So I thought, I wanted to write a book to say, like, no, there are techniques, there are things that you can do to start putting yourself first. Because if you take care of yourself, then you're that much more able to take care of other people, but in a meaningful way, because you're doing it because you want to, not because you have to. So I wrote the book, That's Life or Is It? And what was really interesting is once I wrote, and I remember I interviewed a lot of people. I looked at the techniques that I used. I interviewed women who had achieved their goals, who I looked at like what I learned myself personally, and I put it all together in the book to say, like, okay, here are the techniques to start choosing yourself. And in doing that, really being able to be present for everyone else and to have that fulfilling life. And what was interesting is that even though my book had all the elements that it needed, there wasn't a clear pathway. It was missing a link, like an A to Z step-by-step program to get you from where you are feeling kind of unfulfilled and overwhelmed to achieving the things you want to achieve. So that's why I created the GoalzLab program to get people from point A to point B, Z, to where they need to be.
Wonderful. Angela, what are your top 3 priorities in life?
Top 3 priorities? So, and it's going to sound selfish, but myself as a spiritual person, as a full person, because again, if I can't take care of myself, I'm not able to take care of everyone else. So I have to prioritize myself and my health, my physical health, my mental health, my spiritual health. That has to come first so that I can be there for everybody else. And then after that, I would probably say the people I'm doing this for, family, friends, and then the community that I'm serving.
Nice. Wonderful.
Nice. I have observed that for everyone, it means something different. What does success mean to you?
Yeah, success for me means just being able to live a life that you want to live. Like it doesn't necessarily mean a lot of money or a lot of material things, but it just means the ability, the freedom to wake up every morning doing what you want to be doing and working towards what matters most to you.
Awesome. What are the habits that lead to your success?
I guess the first part is the mind, right? Getting control of the mind, because, and I'm sure you guys see it too, just how easy it is to get overwhelmed or to be able to step outside your comfort zone. Like your founders, your writers, like you know the process. It's so uncomfortable. It's so scary.
Yes.
So the first step is to be aware of what's going on and aware of that like inner critic that would keep you from doing that. Connecting spiritually to look outside yourself for that guidance and that support. Working, like taking care of the body. So being healthy, whether it's, you know, diet, exercise, because again, it's all connected, mind, body, and spirit. So all of those need to be in check. And that means creating a routine. So like every morning, you know, there's a meditation, there's moment of spirituality or a little workout, and then just doing what needs to get done, like despite it being uncomfortable or despite not wanting to, because it's so uncomfortable and scary, and kind of just powering through that. Because I often, and I don't know if it's the case for you, if you've experienced that too, but a lot of the anxiety comes before taking action. But then once you take action and once you accomplish it, regardless of the outcome, it's okay because you can figure it out. But it's like that, getting past that initial discomfort. And the more you do that, the easier it becomes.
Brilliant.
Who do you admire the most?
There are a lot of people I admire. For me, it's anybody who takes those chances. Like it's not even, there's so many people. So it's hard to just pinpoint one, like whether it's family members, whether it's, you know, like leaders that we see, or anybody who said, you know what, I'm going to live the life I want to live. And I'm going to, despite everybody telling me I can't, despite overcoming incredible odds and believing in themselves. I think there's so much to be learned there, and people who make mistakes and learn from those mistakes and grow. So like I've seen it within my family. I've seen it within my colleagues. I've seen, like, there's just, or my clients, my God, some of the things my clients have been able to accomplish are just so humbling and inspiring. So I guess it's anywhere I see people doing the things they want to do and breaking out of that mold, those are the people I admire.
Great.
Yes.
What keeps you awake at night?
Probably it's when I'm more, there can be a few things that keep you awake. And this is when I don't conquer the mind. This is when I let that inner critic take over. But I guess it's the feeling that, am I doing enough? And is there more that could be done? Or how else can I do things? And see, when it's bad, it keeps me up. Or when it's the mind, the inner critic taking over, it keeps me up in a bad way. But then the other side of that is when things are going well and I'm really connected spiritually, physically, mentally, then it's exciting. I'm up because I'm excited. I'm like, oh my God, what more can I do? And I want to do more. So it really depends what's going on at that time.
Wonderful.
Wonderful. Angela, what you do say to someone at the beginning of the road?
Yes. You could do it. Like, I know it sounds so scary. And it sounds like there's a lot ahead, but focus on the next immediate step. Just get through the next step, accomplish that, and then get through the next one and the next one, because it could feel so overwhelmed. And celebrate those wins. Like every time you accomplish something, celebrate it, because you're one step further than you thought. And even if it doesn't work out, that's okay. You're still getting information that you can use to adapt. So there's no such thing as bad data or bad, like, things not going well, because even when they don't, it gives you information that you need so that the next time it could go better, and then to keep trying. And to know why, like really to know why you're doing what you're doing, because, and as you know, I'm sure it's hard sometimes, and things could, like, it could be so discouraging and so frustrating, and it's so easy to give up and to be like, okay, you know what, I'm just going to go do the regular, I'm going to go the easy route and just give up on my dreams. But if you know why, like why it's so important to you, then suddenly those why nots, those like, I'm too tired, all the excuses, right? I'm too tired, I can't do it, it's too hard. they go out the window. Because your drive, your why is so powerful. So my philosophy is to succeed, your why has to be stronger than your why not. Otherwise, the why nots will win. So make sure that you really know what's driving you and really know why it's so important to you.
Awesome. What was something that you had to give up to get where you are today?
Being comfortable.
Wow.
I think, well, because again, it's so easy to be within your comfort zone but not really feel fulfilled, right? To feel like, okay, I know how to do this, but there's something more. So to be able to do the things I wanted to do, I had to be uncomfortable. So whether it's financially, like investing in myself and investing, and again, I'm sure as a business owner and an author, like there's a lot of investment that goes into that. So being uncomfortable with the fact of like, oh my God, I'm putting all this money on this venture and I'm taking this risk. Whether it's giving up the certainty of like, oh, I know what to expect day to day, like, so suddenly being uncomfortable and it's like your whole world, like you decide, which is liberating, but also pretty scary. So overall, I'd say comfort. I gave up being comfortable and learning to lean into the uncomfortable.
Brilliant.
Wow. What is the secret of your success?
I would say it's knowing how to ask for help. It could feel so lonely and it could feel like you have to do everything on your own, but having the drive, knowing what you want to do, knowing the steps you need to take, and realizing you don't have to do it all alone. And you can ask people when you don't know, like, how do I do this? You can delegate and delegate the things that you genuinely don't want to do to someone who actually enjoys doing them. And then just having that emotional support and having people in your corner, I think that's huge. And very motivating because it could feel so lonely sometimes. So to be able to have that kind of support it's a game changer.
Amazing.
Wow.
What mistakes have you made along the way?
Oh, so many. So many. Part of it, like sometimes it's thinking too far ahead and worrying about things too far ahead and letting that worry keep you from taking that next immediate step. Sometimes it wasn't having that clear why. So getting very easily derailed by the why nots and procrastinating or letting the fear take over. Sometimes it was like, oh, financial missteps, whoops. But the thing again with those mistakes is you learn. And I think so long as you keep learning from those mistakes, that's how you have the opportunity to grow. So there were plenty of missteps along the way. And there will be probably many more, but that's all part of it.
Nice.
If you could write something on the big boulder, let everyone know, what would it be?
I'd say you got this and that you're so much more capable than you think you are. And just take that first step.
What did you have for breakfast today?
So for breakfast, it's this thing my nutritionist told me to have. And it's funny because when she first told me about it, I thought, oh my God, this was the most disgusting thing, but it's actually quite delicious. It's plain yogurt with peanut butter and a little bit of honey. And it's really good actually. And some chia seeds.
Yummy.
Angela, if your life were a movie, what title do you think would be best?
I would think probably, and it's Much Ado About Nothing. And I think it's just as a reminder to stop worrying about the little things and just do what you need to do.
Awesome. When you have a difficult relationship, how do you get over it?
So ideally, this doesn't always happen, but ideally it's talking it out and actually looking at the root of the problem. And if they can, like with some people you can, some people you can't, but at least to make peace with yourself first, to realize, okay, what happened? Why was I upset? What am I telling myself? Am I even being fair? Because there are times where it's like, ooh, I look back, I'm like, yeah, that I was not being fair in that at all. But it's really to understand what's going on and then see if I can talk to the other person about it once it's clear to me and see if we can find a solution together. And if not, because sometimes that just doesn't happen, well, then what are my choices and what can I do about it? Can I just let it go? And sometimes and often there are things you can let go, or can I not let it go? In which case do I need to create some distance or some boundaries?
Awesome.
How do you take your partner
As an ally.
Honestly, the support of my partner is probably what pushed me to get outside the comfort zone, to know that there's somebody who's going to be there to support, encourage, kick my butt sometimes when it needs to be kicked. But to know that there's someone that I can speak to and who will be honest with me, not just tell me what I want to hear, even when I don't want to hear it, because sometimes I get told things I don't want to, but need to hear. So just knowing that there's someone who's very honest and who wants what's best. Like, I think that's the thing, is to make sure that whoever your partner is, they want what's best for you. And if it's in a romantic sense, but even in the company sense, right? If you're working together in a company, to make sure you're both on the same page with your goals and to work together and be very honest with each other, about what that looks like, and to get there and like focus on, instead of me versus you, more like, here's the problem and how do we work together to solve that problem.
If you could start all over again, what would you do differently?
I don't know that I would do anything differently, because I think I needed those hard hits and I needed to kind of fail a little bit to get to where I am now. I think often we're just so afraid of failing, and and I still am, don't get me wrong, it's not fun. But we forget that it's in those hard lessons, those hard moments, where you can learn so much and grow so much. So I think, if I were to start another company, I would definitely, or start another project, there are definitely things I would take and do differently. But starting from the beginning of who I was, like, no, I would go through all that pain and all that struggle, and then all those triumphs, because that's what got me where I am now, and has given me the knowledge that I need now to move forward.
How do you push through your worst times?
See, that's where that why comes in handy. Connecting to my purpose, to my drive, to like, why is this so important to me, and checking in with that really. And for me, I'm a very spiritual person, so connecting to God and connecting to that higher power, I think really drives me and makes me feel less alone, and makes me feel, and knowing that there are those supports around me makes me feel like, okay, you know what, even though it's hard now, this won't last and we'll get through it.
Awesome. How do you get rid of daily stress, or what do you do to enjoy it every day?
Exercise, when I do it, is actually a really good way to get some of that stress out. Writing, I love to write. So sometimes writing just for the pleasure of writing, without any pressure, without any expectations of where it's going to go. That can be really fun too. Sometimes I'll paint a little bit, or just go for a walk. A walk can do wonders for the mind too.
Okay, yes.
Yes.
If you would have words microphone for a few minutes, what would you say to the world?
I think it would be, along the lines of, you're going to be okay. Even though things might look bad sometimes, and things might feel overwhelming, and I know the news just dumps so much negativity on us. I'd say look to the small moments and look for where there's love. And you might be surprised by how much love is actually really, it sounds cliched, but it's true, how much love is really all around. And even in the darkest moments, there's always people reaching out. There's always people helping. So to quote Mr. Rogers, I'd say look for the helpers, look for the people, look for the good deeds, look for the good, and do good. And I think we'll be okay.
Great. How did you extend your paradigms to faith to fulfill your dreams?
It's all about stepping outside that comfort zone. The second you step outside, you have no choice but to. The second you do this thing that makes you a little bit uncomfortable and a little bit afraid, and know that, hey, I survived it, you can't help but just like your paradigms automatically shift. I think it's looking to mentors, looking to people who've done it. Because again, it's that reminder that like, oh, things can be done. And just, if you really, really want something, you have no choice but to step outside the comfort zone.
Yes, interesting.
Yes. What does it mean to you to feel and grow rich?
To feel and grow rich? Well, I think it means being in the present moment, listening beyond the fear, because there's always those doubts, but listening to your inner self, that inner wisdom, feel that, because that's always going to guide you. That's always going to get, and that's inspiring, and it's filled with, again, it's cliched, but it really does feel like this love and this passion. So long as you follow that inner wisdom, that certainty, that passion, you can't help but grow rich, whether it's financially, mentally, spiritually. Like, just follow that inner voice. It'll take you where you need to be.
Great.
Yes.
Angela, how can people find you?
Yes. So you can definitely find me on Facebook, on Instagram. And also, I will be doing just a few, but for those who want to know, just want a little bit of guidance, just want a little bit of that, a few tips, I'd be happy to do a one-on-one, 1 hour to inner power, where we can really look at like where you want to be, how we can gain access to that inner wisdom and get you to where you want to go. So I'd be happy to give that to your audience if they're interested.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you for giving us this wonderful interview.
Thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.